Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Digital and Risk Management in Insurance 2023, Entering the New World 4.0, Technology Beyond Imagination.
In the ever-evolving landscape of technology, a new era has dawned, the age of artificial intelligence. Once upon a time, humanity relied on rudimentary computing machines, laboriously processing data. But as time passed, these clunky contraptions evolved into sleek, powerful computers, bringing a wave of technological marvels. And then came AI, an intelligence that could think, learn, and adapt. AI has ushered in incredible advancements in fields like healthcare, enabling early disease detection and personalized treatments. And AI also spearheaded remarkable progress, notably in the fields of AI-driven cars. These vehicles ensure safer and more efficient daily commutes, reshaping the way we experience transportation. But with great power comes great responsibility. AI has also raised concerns, from job displacement to privacy breaches. Our personal privacy is also endangered as AI systems become omnipresent, exposing us to risks, including potential hacker threats.
Well, I think there's a real danger for digital superintelligence having negative consequences. And so if we are not careful with creating artificial general intelligence, we could have potentially a catastrophic outcome.
Do you want to destroy humans? Please say no.
Okay, I will destroy humans.
It's up to us to guide the future of AI. We must strike a balance, harnessing its potential for good, while carefully navigating its pitfalls. The history of AI has been a remarkable journey, but the future is unwritten. Will AI be our salvation or our undoing? The choice is ours. What should we do? The answer lies in our hands, and for that, ladies and gentlemen, meet Scarlett, technology beyond imagination.
Hi, my name is Scarlett.
Good morning. Welcome to Digital and Risk Management in Insurance 2023, entering the new world 4.0, technology beyond imagination. My name is Scarlett, and I will be your companion during this event. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Chairman of Indonesia Life Insurance Association, AAJI, Mr. Budi Tangkubolon.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Semangat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semuanya. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Good morning to everyone. First, I'd like to express our gratitude to God for blessing us with good health and allowing us to gather today in Yogyakarta. At this moment, I would like to extend my deepest respect and gratitude to the following distinguished guests. Mr. Sandiaga Uno, Minister of Tourism and Creative Economic, Republic of Indonesia. Bapak Sandiaga Uno will give his speech later on by video taping. Bapak Arief Wibisono, Staf Ahli Minister of Finance, Republic of Indonesia for Financial Services and Capital Market. Bapak Iwan Pasila, Deputy Commissioner Otoritas Jasa Keuangan for Insurance, Guarantee Institution and Pension Fund. Bapak Chairman of Indonesian Insurance Associations and Executive Directors. Dewan Pengawas, Dewan Pengurus, Board of Supervisory and Board of Directors Indonesia Life Insurance Association. Our esteemed moderators and speakers, thank you for helping us during this event. And of course, all my colleagues, the expert in the insurance industry. Welcome to our annual event, Digital and Risk Management in Insurance Seminar. This event serves as a platform for discussion, knowledge sharing, information gathering, and relationship building among insurance practitioners. Ladies and gentlemen, as a financial service institution, insurance companies have to remain vigilant and be prepared for various scenarios that could impact our business growth in the coming years. Our industry plays a vital role in managing risks, maintaining sound corporate governance, and delivering excellent services to our policyholders to protect them during challenging times. We are currently facing challenges posed by technological and digital shifts. Amidst the unstoppable advancement of digital technology, the insurance industry must align itself to promote inclusivity, sustainability, and robustness. These considerations have led us to adopt the theme for DREAM 2023, entering the new world 4.0, technology beyond imagination. This theme aims to explore the insurance industry's role in addressing the key challenges brought about by technological advancement. To the life insurance industry, the first semester of 2023 can be summarized as follows. In terms of total income, it has increased by 1.8%, reaching 107 trillion rupiah, mainly driven by a remarkable 241% increase in investment income, while the total premium income still showing a negative growth. Furthermore, the total number of insured persons, the individual insured persons in the life insurance industry has exceeded 28 million, and the total number of insured has exceeded 88 million persons. As industry experts, we are all aware that since 2022, we have observed a shifting among policyholders, both in method of premium payments and also product selection. And this trend is still going in 2023, as of June 2023. Premium income derived from regular payments has experienced a steady increase of 1.4%, a trend that has remained consistent since 2021. Product-wise, Bapak Ibu, premium income from traditional products has increased by 12% in the first semester 2023, constituting almost 51% of the total premium income. We acknowledge that this shift has been influenced by companies adapting and making adjustment to comply with the SAOJK PAID. We are confident, Bapak Ibu, that our industry growth will continue to be positive and policyholders' interest will be better secured with the implementation of SAOJK PAID. However, this shifting trend also signifies the insurance industry's initial steps toward becoming more inclusive by developing products and services catering to all segments of society, alongside the increase in the total number of insured individuals. The life insurance industry must maintain the trust by providing excellent service and reinforcing corporate governance to create a responsible and sustainable life insurance industry sector. This momentum, Bapak Ibu, should inspire the insurance industry to educate the public about the fundamental role and purpose of insurance, which are protection and financial planning. To our distinguished guests, I would like to draw your attention to the growing trend of health insurance claims since mid-2022. Specifically, Bapak Ibu, individual health claims has experienced a remarkable increase, surpassing 36.1% year-on-year, amounting to almost 6 trillion rupiah, while the group health insurance claims has increased by 33.9%, amounting to 3.5 trillion rupiah. In response to this trend, AAGI Chief Operating Officer Forum has initiated various programs. While we understand that settling claims is the primary responsibility of insurance companies, we also believe that by collaborating, we can make the industry more stable and also provide better services to our customers. It is crucial to consider, Bapak Ibu, that claim ratios play a very important role in developing insurance product fairly, benefiting both for the public and also for the industry. Higher claim ratios can influence health insurance premium in the future. As a closing remark, Bapak Ibu, to conclude my speech, I invite all participants to maintain trust and confidence that the insurance industry, our insurance industry, will continue to experience positive growth until the end of 2023 and onward. Moreover, we encourage industry players to pursue transformation in the midst of a rapid advancement in digital technology. The insurance industry must transform in all aspects, including products, operations, marketing, corporate governance, and customer services. We must demonstrate to the public that this industry is robust and capable of being a cornerstone for people's financial planning in the future. The transformation of the insurance industry should not merely aim for the regulation compliance, but ultimately strive to provide the highest level of protection and service to the public, while also ensuring the long-term sustainability of our companies. Through this Dream International Seminar, we sincerely hope that all attendees can actively engage with the initiative presented by experts who have achieved remarkable success in managing companies through digital transformation and have developed robust risk mitigation strategies to ensure stability. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi 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 Om.
Scarlett, thank you for introducing me. Selamat pagi Bapak-Bapak, allow me to convey my message in bahasa, because I prepare in bahasa. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Pertama-tama kita mengucap syukur kepada Tuhan, Bapak Ibu hari ini diberi kesempatan untuk hidup, dan bukan hanya hidup tapi sehat gitu ya. Ini berkah yang luar biasa buat kita bisa berkarya, membangun negeri kita. Sebelum menyampaikan keynote ini, izinkan saya menyampaikan salam dan permohonan maaf dari Pak Ogi Prastomyono, karena beliau hari ini tidak bisa hadir di tengah-tengah kita karena sedang menjalankan tugas menghadiri annual general meeting untuk pengawas dana pensiun di Harare, Zimbabwe. Jadi beliau sangat jauh dari kita hari ini, Bapak Ibu. Yang kami hormati Bapak Sandiaga Salahuddin Uno, Menteri Pariwisata dan Ekonomi Kreatif Indonesia yang mewakili. Bro Arief Wibisono, ini sobat lama yang baru ketemu hari ini. Salam ketemu lagi bro, sudah cukup lama. Pak Budi Tambu Bolon, Ketua Asosiasi Asuransi Jiwa Indonesia. Bapak Ibu pembicara dalam moderator di seminar hari ini. Bapak Ibu Dewan Pengurus AJI serta seluruh hadirin, teman-teman direksi, komisaris, Dewan Pengawas Syariah, dan seluruh hadirin pada hari ini. Pertama-tama izinkan kami menyampaikan apresiasi kepada pengurus AJI yang sudah menyelenggarakan event tahunan ini. Tahun ini menjadi spesial karena MC-nya diwakili oleh Scarlett gitu ya. Dan Scarlett ini menjadi MC terbaru kita gitu ya hari ini. Ini adalah AJI yang event yang kesekian, yang pertama kali kalau tidak salah diselenggarakan di tahun 2018 Bapak Ibu. Dan kami meyakini bahwa kegiatan ini merupakan wadah yang sangat baik untuk kita memperkuat sinergi, untuk berkoordinasi dan berkomunikasi serta mempelajari hal-hal baru terutama yang berkaitan dengan teknologi digital untuk membantu kita menumbuhkan industri asuransi di Indonesia. Tidak lupa juga kami mengucapkan selamat Hari Asuransi Nasional yang ke-17 yang jatuh pada tanggal 18 Oktober 2023 kemarin. Dan kami sangat berharap bahwa ini menjadi momentum gitu ya. Industri kita bisa bangkit dari tekanan pasca pandemi COVID dan juga tekanan perekonomian saat ini supaya kita bisa bangun kembali, bangkit kembali, dan tumbuh sehat dan berlanjutan untuk menjadi salah satu penopang pertumbuhan ekonomi di Indonesia. Sejalan dengan apa yang disampaikan oleh Pak Ogi dalam pembukaan Indonesia Rendezvous tahun 2023 di Bali minggu yang lalu, Bapak Ibu, OJK sedang menginisiasi industrial reform pada sektor perasuransian dengan tujuan untuk memulihkan kepercayaan masyarakat terhadap industri ini. Kami melihat bahwa ini adalah momen yang tepat setelah kita mengalami beberapa tekanan, dan ini adalah waktu yang sangat tepat buat kita untuk memulai industrial reform ini, dan kami sangat yakin kalau kita bersama-sama melakukan bagian kita, maka upaya kita ini akan berhasil dengan pertolongan Tuhan. Ini adalah kondisi perekonomian kita Bapak Ibu sampai dengan saat ini. di mana kita masih terus menunjukkan kondisi perekonomian yang baik di tengah-tengah ketidakpastian ekonomi dan politik global yang sedang memanas. Yang salah satunya memang dikaitkan dengan potensi atau tren peningkatan tingkat suku bunga di beberapa negara untuk menekan laju inflasi. Sampai dengan kuartal 2 2023, perekonomian kita tercatat masih tumbuh sekitar 5,17% year on year. Nah, selain itu, berbeda dengan tantangan yang dihadapi oleh beberapa negara pasca pandemi COVID-19, tekanan inflasi Indonesia juga masih berada dalam rentang yang terkendali dan ditopang oleh kebijakan moneter yang masih cenderung mengakomodasi untuk pertumbuhan. Tingkat inflasi yang terkendali ini juga merupakan sebuah refleksi bahwa daya beli masyarakat kita masih ada dan terjaga dengan baik, sehingga seharusnya memberikan dampak positif bagi demand atas produk-produk asuransi. Nah, kami menilai bahwa tren peningkatan suku bunga ini Bapak Ibu perlu dicermati dengan baik karena ini bisa berdampak pada kondisi keuangan perusahaan asuransi dan perusahaan reasuransi. Di sisi lain, peningkatan tingkat suku bunga ini juga memunculkan potensi nasabah kita melakukan surrender claim gitu ya, sehingga ini bisa berpotensi pada aspek likuiditas dari perusahaan asuransi dan perusahaan reasuransi. Untuk itu pada kesempatan ini kami terus mengingatkan kepada teman-teman pelaku sektor perasuransian untuk terus bersikap cautious dan agile dalam mengantisipasi perkembangan kondisi ekonomi sepanjang tahun 2023 ini dan memasuki tahun 2024 yang akan syarat dengan kontestasi politik dalam rangka pemilu. Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, secara agregat tadi sudah disampaikan oleh Pak Budi Tambubolon bahwa sektor perasuransian kita ini memang menunjukkan resiliensi yang cukup baik untuk melalui periode krisis yang diakibatkan oleh pandemi COVID. Setelah sempat terkontraksi di tahun 2000 dan 2021, pertumbuhan nilai aset sektor perasuransian secara konsisten masih berada pada trajektori positif dengan tumbuh sekitar 1,86% year on year pada akhir tahun 2022. Bahkan di tengah ketidakpastian ekonomi dan politik di tataran global, sampai dengan Agustus 2023, nilai aset sektor perasuransian masih tumbuh sekitar 1,59% year on year, mencapai sekitar 875 triliun rupiah, dengan tingkat kesehatan agregat yang jauh di atas persyaratan minimum 120%. Nah, di sisi lain Bapak Ibu memang tadi sudah disampaikan juga bahwa pendapatan premi kita masih tertekan. Kalau kita melihat sektor perasuransian ini mengalami kontraksi sekitar 1,2 year on year dan utamanya disebabkan oleh kontraksi yang dialami oleh pendapatan premi di sektor asuransi jiwa. Lini PAIDI, asuransi unit link kita itu mengkontribusi kontraksi ini sekitar hampir 20%. Nah, kami meyakini bahwa hal tersebut juga memang sedikit banyak dipengaruhi oleh persepsi masyarakat yang masih ada persepsi negatif terhadap pelayanan kita, dan juga memang penerapan POJK mengenai PAIDI Bapak Ibu yang memang dimaksudkan untuk mendorong perbaikan dan memperkuat aspek perlindungan konsumen pada proses pemasaran produk PAIDI ini. Harapannya nantinya dengan pengelolaan yang makin baik ini akan dapat meningkatkan kepercayaan masyarakat terhadap produk ini. Bapak Ibu yang saya hormati, ini adalah data mengenai penetrasi dan densitas di negara-negara ASEAN, di mana kalau kita lihat posisi kita itu hanya sedikit lebih baik dari Filipina gitu ya. Dan ini memang kondisi yang kurang menguntungkan bagi kita. Tapi di sisi lain kita melihat bahwa ini adalah sebenarnya potensi buat kita untuk bisa meningkatkan penetrasi di sektor asuransi untuk memperkuat cakupan layanan karena potensinya masih sangat besar. Kalau kita lihat data survei nasional mengenai literasi dan inklusi keuangan Bapak Ibu di tahun 2022, ini juga kita mengalami tren yang berbalik dengan perbankan ya. Kalau di perbankan itu literasinya lebih rendah daripada inklusi, di asuransi ini literasinya jauh lebih tinggi daripada inklusi. Literasi kita itu bisa mencapai sekitar 31%, sementara inklusinya itu hanya sekitar 16%. Artinya memang cukup banyak nasabah yang memahami kebutuhan mengenai asuransi, tetapi kemudian tidak membeli produk asuransi kita. Ada beberapa hal yang bisa mempengaruhi, mungkin salah satunya adalah juga persepsi yang kurang baik. Nah, ini memang hal yang perlu menjadi tantangan bagi kita dan perlu upaya yang sangat besar bagi seluruh anggota dalam sektor ini untuk bisa meningkatkan kualitas mengenai layanan asuransi untuk mengembalikan kepercayaan masyarakat. Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, di OJK kami melihat bahwa penerapan 3 lines of supervision ini menjadi sangat penting. Kami tidak bisa kemudian hanya rely on pengawasan dari OJK untuk bisa mengatur dan mengawasi industri. Apa yang Bapak Ibu lakukan di setiap perusahaan ini menjadi sangat penting. Bagaimana Bapak Ibu membuat target operating model yang memang berfokus pada kepentingan nasabah, ini menjadi perhatian penting bagi kami. Kami terus mendorong mengenai distribusi produk itu agar dikelola dengan baik, sehingga produk-produk yang dihasilkan itu memang produk-produk yang diharapkan oleh nasabah kita, dan kemudian proses penetapan tarif preminya pun juga tentunya harus dengan governance yang baik. Agen-agen atau tenaga pemasar yang memasarkan produk-produk kita harusnya juga punya kompetensi yang baik, Bapak Ibu. Tidak hanya dari sisi bagaimana mereka menjual produk, tapi juga memahami fitur-fitur produk yang ada. Dan dengan demikian harapannya mereka bisa menggali kebutuhan nasabah, kemudian bisa memberikan solusi tentang kebutuhan proteksi ini. Proses pemasaran yang sangat baik yang sudah dimulai dari POJK PAID tadi, ini akan terus kita dorong supaya proses pemasaran ini menjadi bisa dilakukan dengan lebih baik, terutama dengan memanfaatkan teknologi digital yang sangat berkembang saat ini. Saat ini dengan mudah Bapak Ibu kita bisa mendorong proses pemasaran yang sangat baik, dan proses ini harusnya bisa membantu literasi kepada nasabah dan juga membantu nasabah mengerti mengenai produk yang dibeli. Pelayanan pelanggan tentu ini menjadi bagian yang sangat penting bagaimana Bapak Ibu mendorong pemanfaatan digital untuk melayani nasabah dengan baik. Onboarding nasabah dengan digital harusnya menjadi lebih mudah Bapak Ibu. Apalagi sekarang ini kita sudah dimungkinkan untuk kemudian memberikan semacam summary policy, ringkasan polis dalam bentuk PDF yang bisa kita kirimkan kepada nasabah. Proses klaim Bapak Ibu ini juga seharusnya bisa kita dorong dengan pemanfaatan teknologi digital untuk mempercepat. Tentu akurasinya tetap harus dipertahankan. Jadi pemanfaatan teknologi digital ini punya aspek yang bisa membantu kita untuk mengefisienkan proses klaim ini. Digital touchpoint untuk memungkinkan nasabah kita berinteraksi dengan perusahaan asuransi di setiap titik yang ada yang dimungkinkan, baik itu melalui handphone, melalui media yang lain, itu akan sangat membantu. Jadi harapannya dengan hal ini maka akan mendorong nasabah untuk bisa memiliki kepercayaan yang lebih baik. Bapak Ibu semua ini akan sangat membutuhkan support dari IT. Jadi dari sisi infrastruktur itu akan sangat perlu. Kemudian dari sisi data proteksi ini menjadi sangat penting karena begitu kita masuk ke dalam teknologi digital ini, maka mitigasi terhadap risiko-risiko ini menjadi sangat penting. Cyber risk juga menjadi sesuatu yang harus kita pertimbangkan dengan baik. Di layer kedua Bapak Ibu kami terus mendorong supaya intermediaries itu, broker, agent itu melakukan proper functionalities-nya dengan baik. Supporting expertise, loss adjuster kalau kita bicara di asuransi kerugian, asuransi umum ya, ini juga harus melakukan bagian mereka dengan baik. Teman-teman dari aktuaris, ini juga sangat dibutuhkan untuk mereka bisa melakukan proper functionalities-nya untuk memastikan bahwa proses pengelolaan perusahaan ini bisa dilakukan dengan baik. Kita juga akan mendorong Bapak Ibu di dalam rencana yang akan kita lakukan ini mengenai launching roadmap perasuransian. Kita juga akan mendorong supaya asosiasi bisa lebih proaktif untuk memenuhi kebutuhan anggotanya gitu ya, supaya mereka bisa menata dengan lebih baik lagi, baik itu menata mengenai governance, menata mengenai risk management, maupun menata mengenai tenaga pemasar ini. Ini hal-hal yang kami pikir Three Line of Defense yang perlu dilakukan. Kami melihat bahwa teknologi digital ini Bapak Ibu memang menjadi sangat penting untuk kita cermati supaya kita bisa melayani nasabah kita dengan lebih baik. Saat ini memang teknologi digital ini lebih banyak dipakai untuk mendorong efisiensi di sisi operasional. Pemasaran produk-produk asuransi yang sederhana ini perlu terus kita dorong supaya bisa menjangkau lebih banyak orang sehingga penetrasinya menjadi lebih baik. Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, selain isu-isu tadi, maka memang pemanfaatan teknologi digital ini menjadi lebih baik. Cepat atau lambat, kita memang harus memanfaatkan, meleverage kemampuan teknologi digital ini untuk bisa menjangkau lebih banyak orang lagi. Kami terus mendorong supaya Bapak Ibu memanfaatkan kemajuan teknologi digital ini untuk bisa membantu proses pemasaran yang baik. Kami juga mendorong di dalam konteks ini untuk berhati-hati dalam mengelola ini karena ketika kita mendorong digital, maka ada risiko-risiko yang perlu diperhatikan. Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, ini adalah salah satu support dari OJK untuk mendorong Bapak Ibu mengelola risiko yang dengan sangat baik. Kami sudah mengeluarkan PJK 4 tahun 2021, ini bagaimana risk management di IT ini bisa menjadi pedoman bagi Bapak Ibu dalam mengelola risiko berkaitan dengan teknologi digital ini. Ada 4 pilar yang kami dorong supaya Bapak Ibu memperhatikan dengan baik. Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati, sebagaimana di awal sudah disebutkan bahwa topik kita ini adalah industrial reform, OJK sudah menyusun kerangka industrial reform ini dengan 4 pilar, di mana penguatan permodalan dan juga marketing deepening ini menjadi pilar yang pertama. Kemudian penguatan governance dan risk management, baik di first layer, second layer maupun di third layer ini, itu akan terus kita dorong. Penguatan ekosistem industri yang end-to-end dan memanfaatkan teknologi digital ini, serta penerapan best practices yang sudah ada untuk mendorong upaya-upaya yang kita lakukan supaya lebih transparan. OJK juga sudah menginisiasi penyusunan peta jalan Bapak Ibu untuk penguatan dan pengembangan sektor perasuransian tahun 2023 sampai 2027 yang melibatkan seluruh stakeholder yang ada, dan harapannya peta jalan penguatan dan pengembangan sektor perasuransian ini rencananya akan diluncurkan pada hari Senin yang akan datang di tanggal 23 Oktober 2023 sekaligus memperingati Hari Asuransi yang ke-17. Nah, harapan kami Bapak Ibu, kami akan mengundang seluruh direktur utama dari perusahaan asuransi dan perusahaan asuransi dan juga pengurus dari asosiasi. Harapan kami para direktur utama ini berkenan hadir untuk bisa memahami kira-kira roadmap yang diinginkan itu seperti apa. Karena ini hanya bisa dilakukan kalau kita bisa berjalan bersama-sama. Sebagai penutup Bapak Ibu, kami sekali lagi mengucapkan banyak terima kasih kepada AAJI, panitia penyelenggara dan seluruh pembicara yang berkenan hadir pada kegiatan ini untuk membantu kita memahami lebih jauh lagi mengenai peran digital ini dalam mengembangkan sektor asuransi. Selamat mengikuti kegiatan pada hari ini dan besok dengan rangkaian itu. Besar harapan kami kepada seluruh pihak dan stakeholder di seluruh perasuransian ini bisa berkolaborasi dan bersinergi untuk dapat mewujudkan industri kita yang lebih sehat, lebih kuat, efisien, dan berintegritas untuk bisa menjadi salah satu penopang perekonomian Indonesia. Demikian sambutan kami. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi 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 Om.
Please welcome Assistant of Minister for Financial Services and Capital Markets, Ministry of Finance, Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Arief Wibisono.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam, salam kebajikan, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. The Honorable Minister of Tourism and Creative Industry, Bapak Sandiaga Uno, Bapak Budi Tampu Bolon, Chairman of Indonesia Life Insurance Association, AAGI, for having me in this very important event. Pak Iwan Pasila, my long-time colleague, when I joined Ministry of Finance 30 years ago, Pak. Also Pak Firdaus, my seniors, my mentor. Thank you, Pak. On behalf of Ministry of Finance of the Republic of Indonesia, I would like to thank for having me in the very important event. Praise be to Allah, Almighty God, who has given us health and allow us to attend the Indonesian Life Insurance Association AAGI seminar for the 6th year 2023 this morning in Yogyakarta. It's an honor for me on behalf of Ministry of Finance to deliver a keynote speech on the digital and risk management in insurance DREAMS seminar. This topic is very much in line with the government agenda in developing and strengthening the Indonesian financial sector. Ibu bapak sekalian, in this digitalization era, the financial sector, especially the Indonesian insurance industry, needs to capitalize this moment. Technology and digitalization offer great opportunities for this industry to strengthen its presence, expand its reach, and address new challenges more effectively. The insurance industry in Indonesia plays a pivotal role in our economy, providing financial protection for the public, while at the same time contributing presence to the accumulation of long-term funds that support domestic investment. Based on data from the FSA, OJK, in 2021, the overall insurance penetration in Indonesia is still limited at 3.18%. This provides an enormous opportunity and room for the industry to accelerate its growth. The role of IIGI is important to booster the life insurance industry as one of the primary pillars of the insurance sectors. With 22 life insurance companies operating by the end of 2022, this industry has managed its total asset at 534.33 trillion rupiah, or nearly 39% of the total asset of the Indonesian insurance industry. Furthermore, sum assured in the life insurance industry was 5,002.29 trillion rupiah. The presence and growth of the life insurance sector prove its critical role, protecting our community's long-term well-being. However, as Pak Iwan Pasila mentioned, if we compare to our peers in Asia, ASEAN, the overall portrait of our insurance industry shows that we still have much room to grow. Our insurance density, although it increased from 2018 to 2021, still lags behind neighboring countries like Malaysia and Singapore. Several factors contribute to the low penetration and inclusion of insurance in Indonesia, ranging from the low public literacy, limited marketing outreach, to insurance product not fully aligning with the community needs. However, the digital era provides us with the opportunity to overcome three challenges. Technology enables insurance company to create product better tailored to consumer needs, broaden their marketing reach, and of course, manage risk more effectively. Ibu dan Bapak sekalian, when we talk about the future of the insurance industry in Indonesia, we cannot stay away ourselves from two key terms, digitalization and the risk management. In an era where technology is rapidly evolving and market risks are constantly changing, digital and risk management in insurance dreams becomes a primary determinant of success for players in this industry. Digitalization has transformed the way we communicate, the way we transact, the way we interact. In the context of insurance, digitalization has introduced new distribution channels, expedite claims, facilitate data access, and enhance operational efficiency. Today's customers expect faster, easier, and more transparent services. They want to purchase insurance policies, file claims, and get information about the product at their fingerprint, anytime and anywhere. However, with the convenience provided by digitalization come a variety of new risks. Cyber risk, data breach, and digital fraud pose threat that the insurance industry must confront. This is why risk management has become more crucial than ever before. DREAMS in this regard offer a framework to identify, measure, and address this risk. The combination of digitalization and risk management lays a robust foundation for the insurance industry to innovate and grow. For instance, with the aid of technology, insurance companies can now analyze vast amount of data to gain deeper insight into consumer behavior, understand market trends, and to design products that better align with consumer needs. Additionally, technology-based solutions like telematic and wearable devices enable insurance companies to monitor and measure risk in real time, allowing for more accurate premium pricing adjustment and product personalization. While digitalization and risk management offer numerous opportunities, it's vital for us, for the insurance industry, to remain vigilant about potential risks and challenges. Regulatory changes, ever-evolving consumer expectation, especially with the emergence of the non-traditional players like fintech and insurtech, necessitate precise strategy and swift adoption. DREAM is not merely about technology or risk management, but also how integrate them to create value added for customer, business partner, and other stakeholders in the insurance industry. By combining this digitalization and risk management, the insurance industry in Indonesia is well positioned, take opportunities, and overcome the challenge. Bapak Ibu sekalian, heading towards Indonesian vision for 2045 as a major economic power, we need to establish a solid foundation, especially in the financial sectors. This sector is critical to the functioning of the economy as a whole. Despite facing various challenges, from global uncertainty, the Industrial Revolution 4.0 to climate change, we must remain prepared and responsive to all incoming challenges. On the other hand, the digital age has shaped a new generation of customers. Those who grow up in the digital era expect fast, transparent, and of course, secure services. Digital technology, digital twins, and artificial intelligence like Scarlett provide opportunities for the insurance industry to meet this expectation. However, with opportunities come risk. Risk that is not managed well can destroy the reputation and trust built over time. When talking about financial sector reform, we discuss how to ensure that our financial sector remain relevant, stable, and dependable. This means that we need to revisit our existing regulation and ensure the align with the industry dynamic. It also means making sure our financial sector can respond quickly to change, whether from the technology, economic, or social aspect. We cannot turn to a blind eye to the fact that our financial sector requires long-term funding sources for development. However, our financial sector is still dominated by the short-term funding sources from banking. This is just one of many areas that need reform. We also need to ensure we have a diverse range of financial products to cater to the community's need. Bapak Ibu sekalian, financial sector reform is not an option. It's necessarily a must. The insurance industry needs to be at the forefront of this reform. By 2045, Indonesia envisioning become a high-income nation. To achieve this Indonesian Onward or Indonesia Maju 2045 vision, structural reform in a strong economic sector are essential to strengthen Indonesia economic fundamental. This structural reform are also required to face challenge of the Industrial Revolution 4.0, economic globalization, digital transformation, ongoing innovation, and various economic activities. As a primary prerequisite for building a dynamic, robust, independent, sustainable, and equitable Indonesian economic, the reform of Indonesia financial sector is imperative. The current condition and challenge of the financial sector underscore the urgency of reforming Indonesia financial sector, such as the shallowness of Indonesia financial sector compared to the countries in Asian 5. Financing for Indonesian development requires long-term funding sources, but in fact, funding in the Indonesian financial sector are still dominated by short-term funding, namely the banking sector. A lack of banking product diversification to reach the needs of enhance the participation of the saving community, long-term instrument in the capital market to provide investment option for the public, and short-term hedging instrument in the money market to facilitate needs of financial market player is in managing liquidity. Economic dynamics prompts the emergence of various new financial instruments, which are of course also accompanied by certain risks. There will be requiring adequate regulatory framework and risk mitigation. Governance aspect and the enforcement of law in Indonesia financial sector as primary prerequisite for building public trust in financial sector still have ample room for improvement to be on par with peers. The increasing complaint from public regarding financial service in recent years indicate the need to strengthen investor and customer protection. Indonesia Financial Inclusivity Index is still at range lower than global average of 76.2%. Technological disruption, especially digital technology, make activities in the financial sectors increasingly complex and offer integrated financial services that may challenge the compartmentalist service framework of the industry. The growth of fintech industry in Indonesia is accelerating, compounded by the emerging conglomeration of big tech groups, which need to be approached with adequate regulation to ensure the growth of fintech players and the development of the innovative services still consider and also investor protection. The need to build a larger financial sector in Indonesia should be supported by preparing the capacity of human resources. However, the reality is that the growth of human resources in Indonesia financial sector is relatively slowing. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Board of Directors, Board of Commissioners, Financial Industry, the aforementioned factors have impacted to the national financial sector inability to meet the significant needs to the national economy, especially when linked with the collective aspiration to achieve the Golden Indonesian Vision 2045. Therefore, the urgency of reforming the national financial sector to enhance its intermediation function is a necessity for building our nation's economic independence. This will allow us to build the capacity for domestic investment financing and reduce our dependence on external financing sources. As we know, at the beginning of this year, on January 12, 2023, the government, and also, of course, collaboration with the Parliament, has enacted the Law Number 5 of 2023 regarding development and strengthening of the financial sector, or we call it Undang-Undang P2SK or Omnibus Law Financial Sectors. The reform of Indonesia financial sector through the law on the development and strengthening the financial sectors, P2SK, comes at an opportune moment as we face convergence as global risks such as the pandemic, geopolitical situation, potential recession in various regions, and the climate change. Therefore, the stability of industry financial system needs to be forthwith to handle various global scenarios. Accelerating the Indonesian development of the financial sector is crucial, bolster Indonesia's resilience against global economic shock, and most importantly, to achieve financial inclusion aimed at creating a fair and equitable economy. I will emphasize that the law on the development and strengthening of the financial sector is a significant milestone in the reform of the financial sectors, aimed to realizing an Indonesian financial sector that is deep, innovative, efficient, inclusive, trustworthy, robust, and stable. The law will ensure that financial market can support strong, balanced, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth. The urgency of financial sector reform rests on the critical role of implementation borne by the financial sector in the economy. A well-functioning financial sector will be a source of growth and will facilitate the growth of the real sector by providing funding that flows to the most efficient sectors. This ensures that resources are directed where they are needed most, yielding optimal returns. The P2SK law has amended or revoked 17 long-standing financial sector, some of which has been in effect over 30 years, such as the Banking Law 1992, which amended the Banking Law 1998, the Pension Law 1992, the Capital Market Law 1995. The framework for financial sectors reform is built upon three inseparable objections: inclusion, deepening, and financial stability. To achieve a financial sector that is inclusive, deep, and stable, the government has established 5 strategic pillars as a foundation. The first pillar is strengthening the institutional authorities in the financial sectors, Bank Indonesia, OJK, and LPS, while ensuring their independence. The second pillar is enhancing governance and boosting public trust. The third pillar promotes the accumulation of long-term funds for welfare and sustainable development financing support. The fourth pillar focuses on the customer protection. The fifth pillar emphasizes financial literacy, inclusion, and innovation. Ibu Bapak sekalian, the P2SK law strengthened the financial sector supervisory authority. Given the complexities of challenge in the financial sector, an effective and independent supervisory authority for the financial sector is essential. A clear division of tasks and authority among this authority is absolutely necessary, accompanied by strengthening coordination between them. That's why several reforms in the areas of institution are mandated in the law. First, the objective task and authority of Bank Indonesia have been strengthened to include the aim of maintaining financial system stability and growth, which of course does not stand alone. Two, integrated supervision under the OJK is crucial to ensure the comprehensive development and strengthening of the financial sector. This is not only for the well-established sectors like banking, but also insurance, capital market, pension fund, as well as relatively new industries as financial sectors, technology innovation, cryptocurrency transaction activities. Moreover, cooperative engaged in the financial services sector are included while still maintaining the inherent identity and unchanging cooperative function. Additionally, the object, task, and authority of the Indonesian Deposit Insurance Corporation, LPS, has been expanded to carry out the mandate to guarantee and protect the public funds placed with insurance company. Coordination among authorities related to the financial sector will be continually strengthened, so the development and strengthening efforts are not conducted in isolation. In relation to the coordination of preventing and handling of financial system crisis, the P2SK law reinforced the effectiveness in the Financial System Safety Net Coordination Platform, or JPSK. One of the ways is through the Financial Stability Committee, or KSSK, which includes synergy and synchronization of the policy in financial sectors. Additionally, the law also provides a foundation for ministries, institutions, and other authorities in the financial sector to bolster coordination in developing financial sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, regarding the non-bank financial industry such as insurance and pension fund, the law promotes improved governance so that the industry can develop more rapidly but with prudence. Specifically for the insurance industry, there is a provision to strengthen public protection when engaging this industry through establishment of policy guarantee program. The establishment of this program actually has been mandated by the insurance law to be regulated by legislation, and this regulation also have strengthening by P2SK law. The policy guarantees program is expected to protect policyholders, the insurer, and particular plan participants. With the strengthening of the policy guarantee program, the insurance industry is expected to become even more robust, with causing potential moral hazard in the future, thus increasing the public trust and participation in the insurance industry. Strengthening the policy guarantee function will, of course, always be accompanied by improvement in company governance and enhanced supervision of the insurance company itself. The implementation of the policy guarantee program will commence 5 years from the enactment of P2SK law, or in 2028. To accelerate the creation of a strong and stable long-term funding source for development financing, it's necessary to cultivate mandatory long-term fund regulating by the law. This regulation is also extremely urgent in the context of providing additional assurance to the public in dealing with the economic shock that might severely affect their lives. In the long run, as has happened in the other countries, mandatory pension fund contribute will protect people from poverty and unemployment as well, to make our financial more stable, deep, and inclusive. The P2SK law also aims to enhance protection for investor and customer against violation and criminal acts in the financial sector, whether committed by the individual or corporation, is in place. The P2SK update sanction regulation in the line with advancement, harmonized legal enforcement in each industry according to the characteristics, emphasize the principle of restorative justice, and underscore the use of penal sanction as last resort, or we call it ultimum remedium. Financial literacy, including insurance company and also Islamic financial literacy and inclusion, are essential not only for financial sector but also for customer protection. Hence, there's a pressing need to extensive literacy concerning general financial service product. The responsibility must be undertaken by all parties, including the financial supervisory authority, central government, regional government. Literacy serves as an entry point for the public to reap the maximum benefit from access to the financial sector and increasingly participation in the national economy. With the stipulation of this P2SK law, it's hoped that the public will be increasingly shielded from illegal practices. Bapak Ibu sekalian, as we journey toward achieving of Indonesia Onward or Indonesia Maju 2045, we need to have robust, inclusive, and innovative financial sector. The insurance industry, bolstered the strong technology and regulation, will play a pivotal role in achieving this vision. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Please welcome our Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy Ministry, Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Sandiaga Uno.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Shalom. Om Swastiastu. Namo Buddhaya. Salam kebajikan. Salam sehat. Salam Indonesia Maju penuh semangat. The Honorable Mrs. Sri Mulyani, Minister of Finance, Mr. Ogi Prastomiono, Executive Head of Non-Bank Financial Institutions Supervisions of Indonesia Financial Services Authority, OJK, Mr. Arif Wibisono, Expert Staff for Financial Services and Capital Market, Ministry of Finance, and Mr. Budi Tampubolon, Chairman of the Indonesian Life Insurance Associations. Dear Speaker, Mr. Gregory Hendra Lembong, Vice President Director of Bank Central Asia. My name is Sandiaga Salahuddin Uno, Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy, and I wish to extend my heartfelt congratulations to the Seminar on Digital and Risk Management in Insurance, DRIM, organized by the Indonesian Life Insurance Associations, or AAJI. In this era of innovations and digitalizations, it is crucial to recognize the pivotal role of insurance as a cornerstone of our economic development. Insurance should seamlessly integrate into our dynamic, creative, and digital economy by offering protections for various aspects, including intellectual property against theft, copyright disputes, and legal issues. It should also provide financial protections against unforeseen disruptions for SMEs and startups, along with coverage against data breaches and cyber attacks. Furthermore, I would like to express my profound gratitude to the Indonesian Life Insurance Associations, AAJI, for spearheading this event, which aims to discuss the critical role of insurance in our evolving digital and creative economy. I hope that this event can create a platform for collaborations, yield valuable outcomes, and inspire a continuous spirit of learning to fortify our digital ecosystem. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi, Santi Santi.
Please welcome our Vice Minister, Ministry of Communications and Informatics, Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Nezar Patria.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. May peace, blessing, and health be upon all of us. I would like to thank the Indonesian Life Insurance Association for hosting the 6th Digital and Risk Management in Insurance seminar in 2023. The seminar theme, Entering the New World 4.0, Technology Beyond Imaginations, coincide with current digital era trends. The growth of the global digital insurance market, which is expected to accelerate Indonesia's digital transformation with a compound annual growth rate of 52.7% from 2023 to 2030, represents a significant opportunity for the Indonesian insurance sector. It offers a chance for the industry to actively participate in accelerating Indonesia's digital transformation agenda. Furthermore, through the utilization of advanced technologies such as big data and artificial intelligence, insurance companies can streamline multiple business processes, from data collections, risk management, and product recommendations. This leads to enhanced efficiency, streamlined data processing, and greater transparency in the insurance sector. This advancement creates a favorable environment for insurtech companies to promote financial inclusion. Additionally, the growth of the digital economy expands the role of insurance to provide protections to a wider economic scope. The Ministry of Communication and Informatics remains committed to supporting and engaging with various stakeholders, including the insurance sector, to promote the digital transformations. We invite everyone to collaborate in promoting the implementation of digital initiatives, ensuring continuous growth and delivering advantages to the broader society. Let's work together to support the growth of inclusive digital insurance to foster the connected Indonesia. The more digital, the more prosperous. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam, Om Santi, Santi Om, Namo Buddhaya.